Might as well just stand up.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. It's Tuesday, October 24th, 2017. Please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes and reports received and filed.
None.
Announcements of other upcoming meetings and events, commissioner liaison reports.
Let's see, your birthday's tomorrow.
His.
Cook County Republic. Oh, Chris's is tomorrow. You're
Yeah.
ahead.
Mine's over.
I can't keep track of them for a reason. I didn't get you on anything. Cook County Republican Central Committee's got a dinner Wednesday night. Jefferson Bank's Pride and Progress was the 50th birthday Thursday. Leadership Friday. Not it.
Meeting Architects Alliance in the morning. I got the MMRPC annual dinner tomorrow evening. Did you say that we had that commission meeting on Thursday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Council Club's fashion shows tomorrow too. They need more models, Jeff. Put you in a tux
See what I
next
can
year.
find for it.
Yeah. Thursday night is Zombie Fest downtown. Friday and Saturday, EMS is one of the big promoters on this. This is at the Taos Park, and it's supposed to be really, really scary. Field of Screams. I think it's $10 a person, but all the proceeds go to maintain the park. So anybody wants to go out and get scared, go do it. And I think we have sheriffs out there too, right?
That's scary.
Yeah.
When is that? Saturday?
It's Friday and Saturday, 27th and 28th. It's supposed to be really, really good. Yeah.
Be prepared to wait in line.
Oh,
Yeah.
Youth Hunt Week.
I think last year they had like 1,700 that went through. Yes.
We, just something to bring up, we have a drug take back at the Taos Water District on Saturday too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Youth Hunt Weekend, too.
Is that this weekend?
So if anybody's got a youth that wants to take me,
I thought it was this past weekend.
nope. 28th, 29th, something like that. Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
We don't have everybody here for accounts payable.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'd ask for approval of accounts payable.
I move that we approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion of computer hardware purchase.
Right, so anyway, during my short tenure here, we went through and the budget was already created for 2017, but, you know, we've kind of come across some probably bigger priorities than the switches that were budgeted, namely the mail server and the hardware upgrade. So what I want to do is I want to take the money, some of the money that was earmarked for the switch replacement, and move that over to replacing the hardware that's needed in order to pretty much keep the email server get the email server upgraded, and then also they'll take us through multiple server upgrades for the next couple of years, and then hopefully we'll stretch it out over the next 5. So anyway, I've got a proposal that we've created through a cooperative procurement, and I would ask that happen. So the money is budgeted, it just wasn't budgeted for a hardware upgrade so much as it was for the switch. So instead of doing the hardware upgrade next year, I want to do it this year, this quarter. It's critical that it gets done.
So you have money in your current budget, you just need to move some of it around?
Yes, sir.
So you have a contract for us to sign too?
I do.
Or?
I do.
Okay.
May I bring it up?
Sure.
Okay.
And it's critical, right?
It's critical.
Okay.
Have I seen it, Brian?
It's just a
What's it
quote,
back
I
down?
think. Is it a,
It's a cooperative procurement thing, so I
Okay.
don't know.
can we approve it pending Jill's approval, maybe?
Or I may be able to do it fast.
If it's critical.
Oh, yeah, these are just lists of equipment,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you.
So are we really approving the contract here, or are we just agreeing to purchase the
Agreeing
equipment?
to purchase the equipment.
Okay,
And I'll issue a PO.
okay. And all this will be on state cooperative procurement.
It's off of Buy Board, which is a cooperative procurement organization that we've joined, yes. And Jill approved that whenever we
Okay.
looked at the terms and conditions.
So we just need a motion to approve the purchase of this equipment.
Right.
Is that correct? Okay. I move that we approve the purchase of the hardware equipment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Signing of Fiber Plus contract.
When Brian took over, he came over and he said one of the issues we're having in the law enforcement center is that the internet that we have over there is actually was less than what most houses have. So we want to increase that with this Fiber Plus contract. It's $194 a month. We've already got the contract, or we already have it in our budget for next year. We would start it as soon as possible, but if you have any questions, Brian's here, he would have to answer them because I don't understand it.
So right now, their current download speed is supposed to be 5 meg, and they're averaging around 4.5. Their upload speed is less than 1 meg. So where that's relevant is obviously whenever they're bringing a VPN into the sheriff's servers and things like that, which is becoming more and more relative. I don't think I'm really speaking out of turn there when it comes to officers having mobile workstations in their cars. So then also, based upon some information that I compiled through online research, they really should, with the amount of users they have and the amount of work that they do, they really should be getting at least 15 to 20 on the download, and they're at 5. So it's really, when I go over there to work, it takes quite a bit longer to download files and things like that, and due to just internet usage. So anyway, so there's different variables that are bouncing around over there right now. One of them is the move, the possible move. So if we move all the infrastructure over there, this may be a short-term fix, but it's a year contract, is what it is. So.
Cost?
$194 a month, total of about $2,300 for the year.
Okay. So some of that will come in this year's budget, and then is it budgeted for next year, or?
I would hope so. I think we should start it as soon as we can. If I just have to come up with two $194 payments, I'm not opposed to that. But we do have that whole figure in our budget for next year.
Right now, they're spending right at $94 a month for that service.
So it's just another 100, or?
Right.
Okay.
I do not have a contract for you because we was going to get it approved first, and then once the contract comes in, I'll just get it over to Jill first and then over to Sam, if you would approve it today.
Okay. I move that we approve the Fiber Plus contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Signing a Missouri Police Chief's grant.
So we applied for a grant to the Missouri Police Chiefs for a program called Virtual Academy, and what it is, it's the online classes for our personnel. It's up to 164 law enforcement personnel can get on there. It's a total grant award of $13,000, and we're getting it for nothing. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I would ask that you sign.
We like that.
Yeah, it's a good price.
Will that cover all the training that you receive?
No. But it'll make it to where all we have to worry about is we won't have to have as many in-services. We can concentrate on the basic skills, firearms.
So it's going to cover the bulk of what?
It will cover up a lot of it, yes. I can hand this whole, I don't know if, I think you did look at this.
Yeah, Betsy sent it.
Yeah. Well, this is the rest of it, but it's just
Yeah.
contact form and all that stuff.
So So this is just the award letter,
Yes, well, you just sign on the back, he does.
right? But there's not really a contract or anything. It's just
No,
an
but
award
he
letter.
did, for some reason, I guess Sam got a hold of him, and there is a Corvette. So I don't know how-
From Sheldon.
I move that we approve and sign the Missouri Law Enforcement Online Training Project award letter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That includes the Corvette then, so we're good. High pursuit vehicle.
Don't have any gas approved for it though.
I'll take care of gas.
Sitting in the
I have it.
parking lot.
Yeah, for Fred Flintstone it.
Oh, you wanted a steering wheel with that.
An engine.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Approval and signing of agreement for professional engineering services, Rainbow Drive Curb and Gutter Improvement Project.
Okay, we have an interesting opportunity here to do some cooperative work with the development out on Rainbow Drive. I'd like to recognize Scott Shaper Cutters here with, I guess the company doing this is still the Shea Group, right?
That is correct.
With Signature Homes as well, but his development company is the Shea Group, and a little history behind why we're here today. Back in 2013 or so, we got a grant to do a sidewalk project for the Pioneer Trail School, and that extended up onto Rainbow Drive and down towards Hunter's Run on Rainbow Drive. And with that project, we did a curb and gutter rebuild, more or less, of Rainbow Drive, a section of Rainbow Drive from Pioneer Trail, actually just west of Pioneer Trail, up to where the curb and gutter originally stopped back the previous project that we did. So we did that project, and we left the west side of that, kind of just stubbed that out, knowing we might have a future project come along to extend that on down with curb and gutter. The previous developer, that property ended up changing hands. The bank acquired it, and then Scott ended up buying it and started on the first section that he did, Paradigm Drive. That was about 2 years ago. Kind of worked on it a little bit last year too. So anyway, all this stuff is developing, and in the meantime, we were finishing up Pioneer Trail sidewalk project, and also kind of looking at future projects for the next half-cent sales tax, and this is going back a year and a half. We identified a future project on Rainbow Drive to take curb and gutter on down to Bender Park at some point. Had a placeholder in the budget for that in case that was a priority of the commission. As of right now, we're not sure if that would move forward, real quick to do that. So in comes Scott with his project. He did his first phase of Paradigm Drive. The second phase that they want to do is along Rainbow Drive. Generally, on a just a 2-lane road with ditches, a developer will go in, and we don't have a requirement that they have to put in curb and gutter or anything like that. They can just run their driveways out to the existing road, put a pipe in the ditch, deal with that with their yards. But this was interesting here because we do have a future plan at some point to take curb and gutter on down through here, which would complete the whole area. Scott's project is just a little in advance of probably where we would be at for a project. So we worked with him, talked to him about some options here. In the previous case on Rainbow Drive with the previous developer, they put up a letter of credit that if we were to do an upgrade on the road within a certain time period, he would have to pay for the curb and gutter, basically. That expired. We didn't get that done in time. That would have been the Pioneer Trail project, but that just did not get done in time to utilize that letter of credit funding. We could do that in this case, but when we do that, if we do, he does go in and build his homes, put his driveways in, then we'd have to go tear them out with an upgrade, which we think could happen in the more near future, not long-term future. So kind of worked out some ideas with Scott and them, and came up with the idea that we would do a portion of Rainbow Drive, curb and gutter, just on one side, but yet we would design it for a full template, so in a future project could come in and do the curb and gutter on the other side, if and when we take it on down, a little further down to the west. So what we got here is an agreement for engineering services. It's with the CMPS. They are the engineer working on Scott's development, and just some economies of scale there. It was more cost effective to utilize them in this case, since they're out there doing work anyway and have the survey data and doing some design work for Scott anyway. So what we'd like to do is begin design on it this year, with construction taking place next year. The engineering agreement is for $14,495. And that agreement actually includes some construction administration, inspection, testing. If we get to the point that we need to utilize them to do that work, we're kind of shaping up next year to be pretty busy. And so it's there if we need it. If we don't need that $3,045, we won't use it. We'll just reduce the amount that we would pay on that contract. So I tried to explain as much as I could on this. There may be more. Larry, feel free to interject anything. But we would like to work with Scott on this to complete the project. Now, one key thing would be who pays for what, and that's where Scott comes in. He's agreed, and we've kind of presented that maybe he'd pay for the curb and gutter. We kind of think that'd be about 15,000, 20,000 range. There might be some drainage work associated with that, an inlet or something on that side. And the county's going to overlay Rainbow Drive next year anyway. So we could time it to work with what he's doing on his side and do some wedging work to make it all match in. There's some inlets that would have to be built as well, and some drainage that would have to be done. County's involvement, not counting the asphalt, would be 20, 30 or so. I'd hate to speculate exactly how much it's going to cost, just because we don't have any firm design to go off of, but we'll know that within the next few months on what we think that's going to be. So we would like to work with Scott on this and do this project and complete it next year. Does the commission have any questions about what we're proposing?
I'd rather work with the developer before it's done than do like some of these NIDs and stuff after it's done, so.
Well, I talked to Larry a little bit about it too, to clarify a few things, and we've done it before, and it's a good practice to try to avoid extra costs in the future, so it makes sense to do this now. And working with the developers and keep some economic development going out there.
I think, Scott, you told us you had all your lots sold on your first section, and that's prompting you to move forward maybe a little sooner than what you were thinking on this section here, and then even I think you're getting it designed for the third and fourth.
All
right?
the 3 lots are sold in the first phase, and
Yeah.
hoping to do some sewer work this winter, open up second phase spring.
So things are moving out there. I mean, that area is growing pretty good as far as what we're seeing in the county. We've had this year alone 3 subdivisions that were partially done. They're being finished this year, and like I said, Scott's here, and just a lot of activity happening out in this area of town, and the school, Business 50 improvements we made on that. I mean, that's prompted some development as well. So I think it's a good opportunity to work with them and benefit both of us.
Build some more schools.
Yeah.
They will come.
It had to come out east though, because Jeff's getting his feelings hurt, because Lakota Woods is probably the last thing,
Scott's been out there on the east side a lot.
I know.
We got him.
Yeah, well, we gotta.
We're running out of room for him, so he had to go on the west side. So,
Hey, he built his.
we'll share him.
Come on.
We'll share him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
So the cost for the engineering services that are our costs.
Yeah, we would pay for the engineering services, yes.
It's good to see. Development. All right, so I move that we approve and sign the contract with Central Missouri Professional Services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. revision to investment policy. Basically, we had talked about this and approved it last week. And Central Bank, I guess, had some people in too, so they kind of still went over it. And we did a conference call with them last week, and they deleted 2 paragraphs. Mainly there were just some redundancy in some of the stuff, so we deleted 2 paragraphs, and I think deleted 4 or 5 words is about it. Debbie is off on vacation this week. We can have her email a revised.
I think she emailed with the revision,
yeah,
so you can see the strike through
Yeah.
and corrections.
But it's,
Is it on the agenda here, or should she
I don't know
email it
if it got
separately?
attached to the agenda, but she did email it.
yeah.
It's, hold on a second, I get the date when she emailed it, Friday the 20th.
There are some strike-throughs and some changes.
Well, one of the
in red
biggest
on it.
changes is they eliminated bankers' acceptances and commercial paper as a possible form of investment instrument. And I don't have a problem with that. I would never
Yeah.
invest in either one of those. And if a subsequent county treasurer decides he or she wants to wade into that, he or she can come to you all and tinker with the investment policy later.
I think that was Central Bank's idea was that neither one of those are investments that we're currently looking at. Take them out now, and if we decide at a later point that we want to add them in, it shouldn't be that hard to revise the policy and add them back in. But to be consistent with Eric's internal control policy, it stated what he would invest in, and this made the policy consistent with his internal controls.
I would recommend you all just go ahead and approve it so I can talk to their trading desk and make some purchases as soon as Kristen and Debbie give me the figure that we can invest in. There's nothing, these changes are, I wouldn't call them cosmetic, but they certainly make the policy more consistent. We overlooked a couple of things, and we appreciate them having, made their comments. So I would recommend you all go ahead and approve it today unless there's something that's confusing.
When it says approved by the county.
You
I
guys
guess-
approved it last week, and now we need you to approve the revision.
Well, you added approved by the county in certain areas. I didn't read through all the rest of it. But where it says approved by the county, who with the county's approving it? I mean, shouldn't it say approved by the county commission?
Right.
So that way, if they get a letter from Kristen saying, sure, go ahead and do this, it doesn't,
No, it would be the
should it specify that?
We can do that.
we can do that.
'Cause I mean, there's other spots in there, I think it said county treasurer, and so that specified it.
Well, it's approved by
Well, on the very
county
front,
commission
it-
and the auditor, though, I mean, technically, right?
We would hope we would work in cooperation,
Right.
yes. I think it's specifying there that those would be in the attachment, so attached to the policy currently is a list of financial institutions that are approved. So it was clarifying there that these are the ones approved by the county, because that language was not in there prior to.
Okay. I don't see anything that jumps out at me as a problem.
Are you wanting to change that, or think that's okay as it is, or?
Well, I think it'd be fine, we can look at it, if it becomes a problem, we can always change that later, but it does deal just with the custodians of the investments.
What page are you looking at?
5. Eight,
Yeah, I got you. I see what you're saying.
so, but like Kristen said, it's basically just regarding the custodians, so.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be approved by, you all are not approving delivery. That's something that my office is, I mean, that's down in the weeds. So I'm confused why they would put approved by the county also. That should be approved by the investment officer or approved by the county commission. I think that apparently they've left it generically.
I think that was probably the intent, was to keep it generic. Just to, yeah, I think that was the intent, right, just to keep it generic.
Figure out who approved it within the county. I think we all would agree. Transactionally, all that falls on my desk. The decision to invest in securities would be on my desk. The amount is going to be on your desk, how much would be invested. But by the time you get down this to delivery, that's between my office and the bond trading desk. So, isn't that your understanding too, Kristen?
I don't have the policy in front of me, I'm sorry.
This section.
It's on 5 and 8, everything.
It's on 8 as well.
I think they're using it as kind of a catch-all phrase. Somebody at the county needs to approve, and I don't think they're trying to delineate who does that, but obviously it's deep in the weeds.
Thanks, sir.
When the delivery of the securities comes to my office or
In
by
most
email.
circumstances, though, wouldn't the custodial facility and custodian be central bank at
Bank.
this point?
Yes.
And right now, they're the only financial institution that's listed in the back of the policy.
And they're approved by the county,
Right,
so.
right, I know.
Okay.
I'm fine with leaving it as approved by the county. So we could say by the county commission, or we could appoint the treasurer to decide or whatever, but I think approved by the county is fine. I just had a question about that and clarified it, so. Yeah, I'm good.
Good
with it.
then?
Yeah.
I move that we approve the revised investment policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We need to sign that, or?
I don't think you need to sign it, I think it will be listed on the front of the policy revised to state.
Okay.
Yeah, right now it has, adopted by the commission, October 17th. I would assume that date simply will just be changed.
Well, it will say that date still, but it will say revised on October the 24th.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Approval of the Russellville contract.
You guys have already approved this. This is the actual contract. It's already been through Jill. I have 3 contracts here so that everybody can have an original, but there's signature blocks there for all 3 of you. I'd ask that you all sign these so we can begin this overtime project.
John, is the amount next year still 15?
Yes. Unless you cut it.
Johnny can get an ordinance list.
We have not got an ordinance list yet from them. This will allow us to go ahead and start, and we can start enforcing state ordinance violations. So. And the main one that, the main safety one that they have a concern with is tractor trailers parking downtown, and that's a municipal ordinance. And whenever they get that to me, I will bring it up here for you guys to approve for me to enforce that particular one. That's the only one that I know of right now that we really need to enforce for safety reasons in the downtown area.
Does it spell out the overtime pay? Okay. Got it.
Mhm.
You guys good?
Good.
I move that we approve the agreement for law enforcement services with the city of Russellville.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion and approval of budget transfer for public administrator.
You need 3 copies signed.
Yes, sir.
Gee, this is fun.
Sign that over before I pass it either. I need to sign that one again. don't I?
Ta-da.
Stop throwing me any papers we get.
You take that, sir.
Oh. Okay.
You guys better make sure what you sign.
Sure didn't add no jailers or nothing.
Yeah. Thanks for not reading the contract, guys.
You need to make it more than
Keep
2
that one
pages
up.
if you don't want us to read it.
Time to add some money in there.
Okay.
Hey, can you scan and send me one too, please, then, when you're done? Okay.
Okay, let's go. Let's discussion and approval of budget transfer for public administrator.
Did Joe talk to you guys?
He was here.
All right, so what's he need? He needs
It looks-
$700.
Yeah, it looks like he added an additional person to his software down in his office. So
Okay.
we've already paid the annual fee, and this is to add an additional person, which was not budgeted. And he doesn't currently have money anywhere else in his budget to cover that amount. So it would need to be from contingency.
So he added an extra person. For what?
I think a license to his software in the office.
Did he get an extra employee?
Well, so right now, he filled the full-time position that was open, but he still has the part-time employees that are working, so they didn't have enough licenses to cover all of the people in his office.
Is that the way it's gonna stay, is with part-times, and we're gonna need that?
I don't know that.
I know he hired the new one in with,
He
in the
filled-
amount that he had
Right, he did
to hire her.
fill the full-time position that was open.
Yes, so he did, yeah.
But through most of the year, we were using those funds to cover part-time employees.
Guess I'm not saying that I want to approve this, but I think Joe needs to be here, so I don't know where he's at.
Right.
Okay.
How many part-timers is he at?
Right now, 3, I think.
And then how many full-timers? 2?
There's now 3 full-time employees.
How many?
4, including himself.
How many part-time?
3. And 4 with Marilyn, who's still got, I think, 2 cases that she just works on, minimal amount.
Yeah, I just think there's some questions that
Right.
need to be answered, because, I mean,
Well-
obviously, if you have part-timers that are working
Well, I think.
different shifts, you know, they could probably use the same,
That's why he was on the agenda.
So we need to just table this and have Joe come next week. I will contact him.
Are you gonna let Melody know?
Yeah. Yeah, he was here, that's why I thought he was. Okay. Okay. Got that. And I should have put Jim under old unfinished business. Is what I should have done before, but.
Go back to it.
Huh?
Go back to it.
Yeah, I am. I know Greg and Jim came and talked, when we built the new jail, the way we built that, they're getting leakage into Lathrop and Gage, and he didn't like my idea of an indoor swimming pool, so, and I know, I wish John would have stayed here too.
He's right
Oh,
outside.
okay, John, we were talking about it too, about what we can do. John's concern is where the runoff's gonna go. He doesn't want to come into his jail, and so we need to, you know, an indoor pool for our inmates. But we need to do something to mitigate this the water coming into Lathrop and Gage, so.
Oh, you're talking about for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that barrier there by
And his
the,
suggestion was to either concrete or pave that area in between. But I don't know anything about it. I don't know if that's going to stop it or if it's just going to push the water further down and go into another building. I mean, if we're going to do that, we need to get, well, Ben's ain't here anymore. We need to get one of his guys over there to take a look at that, to look at what that runoff's going to go if we end up. Because what I don't want to do is put that in and then we fix the problem for that building, but we set something up, you know, and we start flooding somebody else like.
I think that's what happened to JP
Right,
Promotions
right.
was, you've got, I thought originally that Weir's Creek had come up, but we had so much rain, it came down from High Street, went down, went across that parking lot, and I guess went down again. And that's the problem when you've got, you know, nothing but concrete there. That water's gonna go somewhere.
So I truly don't know. I mean, I think we need to do something. If there's a water issue, we need to take care of it, but I don't know what the answer is to that. And Chris, I think you and I talked about this once too. I don't know if that's gonna fix the problem, make it worse, or what. We might just wanna get somebody to look at that. But I don't know who that would be. I don't know if Eric Langware or somebody of those guys could come over and take a look at it if they would do, because that's stormwater runoff. And I know they have issues in the city that right now. There's been a lot of discussion about it, but.
Jim?
I was at a meeting earlier with Larry, and he said they could accommodate that from your side, so. And I don't think it would impact any of your buildings per se. It's gonna dump into the alley, into the city system.
Right, but I don't know, depending on how much water that is though, Jim, I don't know if that's gonna, if it's gonna overwhelm that and then, because there's that one grate there, but I don't know if it'll overwhelm that and end up pushing it back into the Sally Port, or if it's gonna push it further down into one of those other buildings right down the alleyway there, so. And I see what you're saying, but I simply don't know enough about it to say, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Marash was in that meeting this morning, and I think the two could put their heads together and
Yep,
figure that out.
smart
for you,
people.
so.
Okay, so, yeah.
Well, I think we need to look at it. I mean, I'm not sure that sealing up the surface actually fixes the water issue. I mean, we could have a storm sewer pipe that's rusted out, or, I mean, we could be getting water from down below the ground. I don't know. I mean, so I don't mind looking at it, but,
Chris, I think what it is, now you've got a pervious surface there that's let the water admit to it that wasn't there before when the buildings and stuff and the parking lot was there. So what it's doing is coming down under our foundation and coming up through the floors, just on the heavy, heavy rains. But it's a substantial amount of water, and it actually gets into their IT closet is what it does.
And there's another drain right inside the warehouse.
right. I mean, obviously if the water's coming down, you know, we can either capture it or we can shed it. My concern is if we shed the surface water and there's water underground that's coming to your building in a heavy rain via storm sewer, whatever that may be, you know, now we've just sealed up the problem and we still haven't fixed it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any conduits in the area on the upstream side or parallel to the building that I know of. You know, the tree wells out front. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a relatively small area in comparison to be getting that much storm water. I mean, obviously, we've had some big rains, but.
Well, it just stores up the pressure. I mean, you know.
Right.
Cavity there stores up the pressure because it's contained on both sides.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're thinking it's like a tank.
Yeah, it's hydrostatic pressure. It's hydrostatic pressure that's pushing down and coming
No,
in.
and what you're saying is it could be, we could be getting additional water because.
Well, I'm just saying that
Runoff from the street.
sometimes you need maybe fix both problems, or you,
Sure.
I mean, while you're there, you put a pipe in there with a sump pump or something, and you pull any water out there too, or,
Yep.
I mean, a lot of times people think that you redirect the water off the surface and it fixes the problem, and I've seen it time and time again where, yeah, well, it was a good idea, but it still didn't fix the problem, so, you know.
Yeah, the problem is if you try to put a catch basin or something to contain it, Ameren's got a bunch of electrical on the south side of that retaining wall there that would affect all that. That was prior to existing, so it's kind of a complicated little area.
I'm happy to contact. Larry Benz.
We need to do something. We need to get, you know.
If it's commission's pleasure, I'll gladly contact Larry Benz and find out if he can have one of his guys take a look at it. I don't have a problem with that, if that's what you guys want me to do.
I mean, I'm not committing anything. I don't mind taking a look at it,
Yeah.
see what it costs, so.
All right, I'll contact him.
Okay.
On another note, I'd like to compliment the staff here. When we did the remodel of this place, they worked very well with us. It was a complicated job working over people, and they were very, very congenial in working with us, so thank you.
And
We tried to stay out of the
commissioners were great too. weren't they?
They weren't here.
That's what made it work, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Do we have any other issues before we go into closed session?
So I had a list of stuff here.
Hey, Bill, stick around for a second, please.
So, did we get an answer on this Russellville cardboard deal? I mean,
Go ahead and get that. I'll talk to you in a second.
Russellville cardboard is, are they,
That was one of the things on my list too.
okay, pursuing that still, or?
The last email I saw, I thought we said, yes, pursue it, but I don't know if we need to follow up and say, yes, we want to pursue that as county,
Okay.
and then DNR can do whatever they're gonna do, we're not gonna wait on them.
Right, that's kind
It's
of the way
funny,
I
they
saw
can do
it.
whatever they wanna do when they wanna do it,
Mhm.
but if they don't wanna do this right now, then they won't, so.
We don't wanna
DNR.
invite,
You're talking about all those,
Yeah.
cardboard stacked up in
Yep.
that one?
Mhm.
The recycling.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so just need to follow up with Christie or Joe or somebody, make sure that we're moving forward on that.
I guess they've left notices.
Okay. And then I guess, have we started open enrollment for employees on health, or when is that starting?
November the 1st and the 2nd,
Okay.
next week.
Is that for just here, or is that everywhere,
It
or?
will be everywhere in those 2 days.
Okay. We had some emails floating around about the prosecutor owing some money. Have we heard where that's coming from? So we're just waiting to see if he throws a bill to us, or what?
I think I'm more concerned that when we get sunshine requests, that it's not being taken care of. I mean, I know he's been fined, it wasn't the county that got fined for it, correct?
Right.
But, I mean, why wasn't it done? So, that's just one of my concerns.
Yep.
Because he
Mike-
could have sent it down here and then we could have had it taken
He's
care of.
going to consult with me from now on.
Okay. So we have essentially maybe found where the problem
I guess.
was lying.
Attorney's fees are gonna be assessed too, so.
So that's just the tip of the iceberg then, huh?
I mean, I don't know.
So the costs are gonna go up.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
I saw it, I read the paper, so I knew it was costing to find together. That's how I found out we were doing a lot of things lately.
I think Jeff needs to put in there that the commissioners really, really, really read the News Tribune very, very closely.
Well, and you guys, should know too, the Show Me Cannabis is suing all
Everybody.
over the place.
Yeah.
And one of the only cases that they have lost is Mustang, the Mustang Drug Task Force, and the individual sheriffs and law enforcement officers. We did win that one. And that's because Betsy properly did her job. She consulted with me and did her job according to the law and
Or are they
responded.
tricking all these guys or what? Because if I get something sent to me that says, hell, sure, I want this information, it's a sunshine request, I'm gonna send it to you, I'm gonna send it to the clerk, I'm gonna send it to Debbie, I'm gonna say, all right, who wants this, and who wants to send them a bill or an estimate of what it's gonna cost? We've had them before. I mean, I know better leave it sit on my desk, so.
I mean, the first thing people should do.
How are people
is talk
losing
to
it?
me. Well, some of those are open meeting issues. The East Central Drug Task Force lost because they didn't have an agenda posted and they were having a closed meeting without properly
But
putting
that's
it on the
that's
agenda.
not just ignoring the sunshine request, which is what happened up there, right?
Right, but the Sunshine Law
So-
also applies to open meetings.
I know, but I'm just talking about where we lost, or where
Oh,
a
Mark
prosecutor
lost.
lost, Mark lost.
Yeah, he just didn't.
So-
He responded to the request, but it was, this is too burdensome and it's not indexed, and so I can't get it for you, more or less.
All right, that's all I could say about it.
I was just curious about that Campo Transportation Plan meeting I got an email on. I know you're on that board. And
Public meeting?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
arranged
are
for
they-
the public transportation stuff. So
Okay.
if you want to come out and give your 2 cents, if you think they should have weekend and Friday night busing, so you can get from,
Is that what they're kind of looking at, is more extended hours?
I think they're just looking for input, to how to serve the public better, and it's, I think some of the stuff they said were extended hours and possibly some hours on Saturdays, but not necessarily to cater to the bar scene. I was joking about that part.
No, I think that was, some of the public, I think that's what their recommendation was, wasn't it?
For what? The extended hours?
Extended hours.
And a weekend, Saturday, some
Yeah,
hours?
yeah.
I think so.
So what's the cost to rider cost ratio?
I don't
Do
remember
they
that
even look at that? I mean,
It's-
obviously they're just
Well, they get
lose.
they get federal
Yeah.
money and then,
You mean our money?
yeah.
Yeah, our money. So, I mean, the cost for a ride should be about $50.
Yeah.
Or maybe they need to look at smaller buses or vans or bicycles.
Well, I can't look at the smaller buses because the money they took for the buses said it had to be that size of bus, even though it may not be the size of buses that would serve the area. It's,
Okay.
yeah, it's very interesting on how that all, there's always reasoning behind it,
Okay.
but I probably will not be able to attend. I forget when that is. It's, well, that's today from 3 to 6. I have a feeling it might be in the woods.
Okay. Just
Fair one.
curious, so, okay, thanks. Do you have anything else?
For that meeting Thursday, there's some Ameren info. You asked if we should send that out. I think we should kind of send it out so they're not blindsided about what they're coming to the meeting about. That we're going to be talking about that.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me, but,
Right.
because I don't know if we told them anything or said, hey, just show up.
Well, I called him and talked to him, and I said, be advised that you're gonna talk about whether you want a cost share on continuing to cost share, throw in the towel.
Okay, well, it's just basically gonna be regarding the lawsuit and let them know where it's at and see how they want to proceed as well.
Right, right.
I just didn't want them being blindsided, go, what we're coming up.
And
with.
John's gonna be there to explain the status.
Do you want me to make that more of a concise handout instead of listing
Yes.
each individual one?
Yes, Kristen, that would be really appreciated. As I started looking through that, thinking, do they need all this information?
Right, we can just make it total so that they can kind of see the overall picture instead of listing each individual invoice.
Yes, that'd be great, thank you. Also too, for that meeting, maybe, I think people sitting around the table might be better than classroom.
Schools in and making them sit in a
It's fine,
classroom.
something similar to this, or?
Yeah, this would be.
I don't care how you set it.
I got my ruler though. I can-
Sam? You're threatening workplace violence.
This is for Jeff.
See, you're threatening to beat Jeff.
I got my Snickers.
Well, let him go at it.
Well,
I bet Jeff's
Doyle
got
told me
something
how
over there
he
too.
used to- How he used to take care of Jeff.
I'm just gonna tell you, I hit back. I'm getting too old to fight, but I will hit back. That's been a long
Do you want to
time.
file a complaint, Jeff?
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Sexual harassment.
I don't think so.
Don't even-
He
You're not
touched
my
me on the
type.
arm.
You're
He
not my
touched me on the
type.
arm and made me uncomfortable. I think that's all I basically had. I was just gonna bug Bill about something else,
Okay.
so before we go into closed session, I'll just ask him. Anything else for the good of the order? Any good, Joe?
All right, that's it. I move we go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri for security issues sub 18 and personnel issues sub 3.
It should be
Oh,
sub
13. 13. Yeah.
Sub 13.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
how
we
it should
just-
be
Okay,
put
I
on.
just
Yeah.
reading it.
I know, I
It was put on the agenda for
Is
that.
that for
but-
security, sub 13?
No,
Personnel, sub 13.
there's two provisions for
Okay.
personnel.
know. Roll call.
Jeff, did you
Yes.
second?
They're
Yes.
not the same thing.
Sam,
Yes.
Jeff, Chris?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll bug Bill real quick.